So my name is Sathish, and I'm a senior product manager in Mentor, a Siemens company, and I'm responsible for all the AMS verification products, which includes mixed signal verification and the memory simulation and so forth. Okay. So there are a lot of changes that's happening in the landscape so far, and I always felt like this is the first time Verification Academy is calling AMS, so that means something we are doing right? We've been doing AMS for a long time, but the industry by itself is going through a massive transformation. So we are seeing the drivers that was driving before, which is pretty much a Moore's law, performance, and so forth. That's changing right now. And we have a lot more new applications and new services. That's actually starting this new trend of having a little bit more extra focus on AMS verification and what we do differently going forward. So I said our Moore's law is no longer driving platforms. New laws are driving right now, which might be driven by the application like IoT, automotive, medical, industrial, and so forth. And we feel like this is a perfect time to be in mixed signal design and mixed signal methodology. And if you're a mixed signal designer, this is the perfect time to be. It's a very high demand. So I want to start with industry trends. So I want to show you some data and say that it's not just I'm saying that automotive and IoT is great. Show some numbers, and then go over what that relates to design and the methodology, and what are the key challenges and how people are trying to solve that. Okay. So in terms of IC segments, so today's talk is not mainly focused on system, but I want to focus the scope on IC. So the way we look at IC segments, at least Mentor, is we have this AMS IC. We have 4 different segments. We have AMS IC, we have nanometer IC, SoC, and memory IC. And each of the ICs are by AMS IC is pretty much an AOT, or unlock dominated IC. A nanometer is kind of in between, kind of both an AOT or a DOT, and SoC is purely DOT. And finally, you have a memory IC that's purely discrete, or embedded SRAM and so forth.